I'm Isabel Stainsby, and I'm reading from Chemistry, from the short story collection Unicorns by Barbora Hrínová. He'd been rejected by dozens, if not hundreds, of girls online. One of them had messaged him, "Delete your profile. You look like a monster." Then he departed for Łódź to visit Danica 25, who was the only woman to agree to a date. It was 430 kilometres by train from Bratislava, with 2 changes, but he'd have gone to the end of the world. During the journey, he looked at her profile on his smartphone over and over. There was a little niggle at the back of his mind about why she was wearing dark glasses that covered half her face on all photos. She'd refused to send him one without them. He was reluctant to ask her if she also had a white stick. Although that would probably be to his benefit, he still hoped she could see with at least one eye. She'd chosen a restaurant with a small, square floor plan at the edge of town and was waiting for him at the table. He'd have got lost if he hadn't had GPS. Drizzle fell outside the windows. After 2 teas with rum, she removed her glasses. From the left side of her nose, a large brown stain extended across her entire cheekbone and around her eye up to the corner of her eyebrow. It really isn't so terrible, he thought. She reminded him of a puppy in a storybook that had a large brown spot on its face. He instantly wanted to catch her into his arms and cuddle her. She said she was doing a summer job and had already saved up for the operation. She'd have surgery in a month's time. Then it should vanish. But there was a certain risk. She might have a shiny scar that would glow in the dark. She often thought about it, and she was always depressed. He told her she didn't need to go for the operation. It was enough to love herself. He would be able to love her. He took the night train home. He made up his mind not to text her until the train had stopped at least 3 times. He didn't want to come across as needy. Dąbrowa Górnicza, Sosnowiec Główny, Katowice. He even got past Tichy. Then he sent a message. He'd felt comfortable with her, and, if she agreed, he could come to Łódź again the following weekend. She wrote back after 4 hours, when the second train was leaving Hodonín. Better not. Only when he got off at Bratislava did he find the courage to ask, "May I know why?" She didn't write back. He inserted what many women on the dating site had already told him. "You aren't my type." The green light beside his name was always on. The baseline state of his existence on dating sites and general social networks was online. He wanted to be available. Awake, he instantly wrote back. On waking up, he wrote, in case he'd missed the message arriving, "Sorry, I was asleep." He wrote back to Zoya that same second. He couldn't believe that some girl on a dating site was writing back to him. And such a nice redhead, with freckles scattered over her milk-white skin, at that. Once upon a time, women with freckles were derided. So maybe she wouldn't be giddily confident, he thought, to encourage himself. What's more, he didn't have to travel abroad to see her, or even leave his own territory, the capital city's centre. It was enough to leave the house and cross 1 or 2 streets. When he saw her approaching the plague column on Rybne Square, where he'd been nervously shifting his weight from one foot to another for 15 minutes, his jaws clenched as if welded shut. He wasn't sure he'd even managed to say hi. She was even more beautiful than her photo. Her red hair reached below her waist. Tall and slender. Maybe 10 centimetres taller than him. "What do you do?" she asked him, when they were seated in a cosy cafe and had each ordered tea. "Look for a partner," he would have said, but bit it back at the last moment. His formal job didn't have a job title. Probably the best description was factotum. "I work in my dad's company. We make analyzers," he said, using the plural to help himself out. "And you? What do you do?" he asked hastily, to distract attention. "I'm a violoncellist." It would have been appropriate to say interesting and ask more questions, but only one occurred to him. What the hell is a violoncello? Are they the big violins or the small double basses? "Analyzers. That sounds complicated," said Zoya, breaking the silence. "Not at all," he said, looking modest. "They're kind of like little labs. We determine the composition of liquids." "That's all Greek to me. To be honest, I never liked chemistry. It could have been an indication that she wasn't going to like him either. He retreated to the toilet. He still didn't want to believe that Zoya had come out with him. He wondered if she'd already put on her coat and left the cafe. He rinsed his hands endlessly under the tap so he didn't have to face reality. Finally, he plucked up his courage and peeped out. She was still sitting there. "What star sign are you?" she asked. She instantly dropped in his estimation. "I was born on the 10th of July, so Cancer, I guess." He would not admit that the planets could affect human nature. Rational, scientific convictions were the only things he insisted on under any circumstances. "Aha," said Zoya reservedly, and added, seriously, "I'm a Leo." With his heart in his mouth, he asked, "So, do they go together then, Cancer and Leo?" "Not at all. But I take it with a pinch of salt. If I was 100% Leo, I probably wouldn't get such stage fright before every concert." "Are you a nervous wreck?" he asked, wanting to hear it again. Expressions of slight insecurity attracted him. "Absolutely," Zoya nodded. When the waitress came back, she ordered a glass of wine. "Do you take anything for it? There must be some drug that's good for the nerves." "No. Do you take anything?" She looked at him suspiciously. He shook his head vigorously. "So far a glass of wine before a concert is enough," she said, winding her fingers around the glass, unfortunately smiling. "I've got used to having a swallow or two in my dressing room before the performance." "I'm probably not normal, right?" She laughed. "Entirely normal," he said, as reassuringly as he could.